know most of you, but this is Yoshi Tanokura. You don't have to call me Dr. Yoshi. I'm just Yoshi. So here's the course description of this trip. And basically, we will take this trip to Japan during the spring break 2021. And then I will take you to see some traditional Japanese theater performances, and you'll learn some things about those different types of Japanese theater. And it will also examine Japanese theater's influence on the development of theater in the West. And that's the kind of really very basic nature of this course. And then because this is an international travel course, there are these non-academic objectives that are really the main part of the course. So by being immersed in Japanese culture, custom, traditions, and I would like you to develop an appreciation for and understanding of how various Japanese theater styles have been sustained and have evolved throughout history. And I would like you to discover that while you're in Japan and observing the way people act, I mean, in everyday life, and how they speak, and also observe the architecture and the things just you see in everyday life, and you will discover how those traditions and customs are influenced by the performance art, as well as performance art influenced by those traditions. So those are the things I would like you to discover. And then when you are in a different culture, I assume some of you have been to other foreign countries, and you discover that something about yourself, right? So I would like you to evaluate your personal perspectives and the values by comparing them with those of the Japanese peoples. Okay. And then foster a sense of responsibility for yourself and others in the global context, and develop understanding and appreciation for cultural diversity by paying attention to and recognizing the random kindness you receive from people whose language, customs, and beliefs are entirely different from yours. Now, when you're in Japan, you, like I said here, you will experience like these unconditional kindness from Japanese people. And some people may get scared and kind of look at your eyes and just kind of go away when you talk to them. but many of them are really nice and try to help you, even though they cannot speak English. So that's a fun part of being in Japan. Okay. Stop me anytime if you have any questions, all right? Now here's the tentative schedule, overall semester schedule. So during the weeks prior to going to Japan, I would like to meet with students like once a week or every 2 weeks, just to get ourselves ready for the travel, discuss what to do and what to bring, and just mind all these details you need to know before you go to Japan. And then I think it's going to be during week 8. That's when we have the spring break in the spring 2021, and we will leave on Friday and come back on not the following Sunday, but Sunday after that. Okay, so you'll have like a 10-day trip. I'll go into more in detail about the actual travel schedule in a minute. But then when we come back, you will recover because you will have a severe jet lag. And then again, I would like to meet like a couple of times after we come back so that we can meet and discuss what you've learned. And also I would like you to write reflection paper and then present it. Okay. So here's the actual tentative schedule of the trip. So day one, we will depart from Newark or JFK. And the first destination is Kyoto. So that's Western Japan, okay? And we will fly into Osaka International Airport. And from there, we have to take a train to go to Kyoto. So it's gonna be a really long trip when we go there, okay? Just to give you an idea, so it's not gonna be a straight flight from US to Japan. We have to stop somewhere in California. So that's the first stopover. Then from somewhere in California, we'll fly to Osaka. Okay. So from here to somewhere in California, it's gonna take like 5 to 6 hours, right? And from California to Japan, Osaka, it's gonna be another like 7 to 8 hours, okay? Then from Osaka to Kyoto, from door to door, expect it's gonna take about 3 hours, okay? So it's gonna be tough, but because of the excitement of going to a new place, I think you'll be okay. The last time I did this trip, I did the reverse. And the students really hated having a stopover on the way to home to the US. So just, we want to get it over with it in the beginning. Then when we come back, I'll describe it later on, but we will fly from Tokyo to New York or JFK without any stopover. That's the plan for the time being. So when we leave here and arrive in Japan, it's going to be a day after, okay? Now, when we get there, more than likely it's going to be in the late afternoon, okay? So we will just kind of relax and take it easy on that day. Then the following day, well, the plan is to explore the city of Kyoto. Kyoto is a very old city, and there are so many beautiful gardens, temples, shrines, and you will see really excellent old Japan, okay? Then, and in the evening, it's either on the March 14th or 15th, it's the day of Buddha passing into Nirvana. And there are a couple of festivals throughout the city. And one of those days, 14th or 15th, I would like to take you to those one of those festivals where there are a bunch of food stalls and a bonfire and also no performance at one of those temples, and those are really fun. And then second day in Kyoto, Now it's going to be all depends on how many performers we have and so forth. But there's this no theater house where you can have a workshop on how to perform no theater and also getting to know about some elements of no theater. And it's going to be about like 2 hours of workshop. And I'm planning to have you guys do that. Then again, and then in the evening, there's a kabuki theater or no performance somewhere always in Kyoto. So we'll go see one of those. And then the following day, the March day 5, oops, sorry. Maybe we'll do you'll experience Japanese tea ceremony workshop or lesson in the morning, and in the afternoon we'll take the short trip to outside of Kyoto, maybe Nara or Himeji. Nara is where there is this one of the biggest Buddha statues is placed in this famous temple called Todaiji, and then you get feed deer there if you're into that kind of thing. And also in Himeji, it's also outside of Kyoto. There is this huge lake called Lake Biwa, and there is this Bunraku theater house company there, and they also offer a workshop. So depends on how many of you are interested in it. I may try to arrange a workshop there. Okay, and the evening, last evening in Kyoto, it's free, so you can do whatever you want. Okay, there are a lot of really good restaurants in Kyoto, so I hope you interested in having one of those excellent meals in Kyoto. And the following day, early in the morning, we will take the bullet train to Tokyo. Okay. Then in the PM and evening, we'll explore Tokyo. Okay. And trip always makes you tired, so we're gonna take it easy on that day 6. All right, and then day 7, we will go see a kabuki theater at this famous kabuki theater. And then after that, and they do performance in the morning. So just before the lunchtime, so we'll see like one portion of kabuki performance, because if you try to see the whole thing, it's going to take like 4 hours. So we'll just see the first act of it, right? Then right near where the theater is, there is this old fish market. It's called the Tsukiji Fish Market. That was very famous up until a couple of years ago when they moved the market to a different location in Tokyo. But there are still a lot of food stalls there. So we can go there and have lunch there. Then after that, I'll take you to the Imperial Palace. And then after that, if you still have energy, we can go to Akihabara, where there are a lot of crazy anime shops, and you get to see very crazy Japanese fashion. And you'll see how Japanese animations influence the fashion, modern fashion, especially the girls' fashion. So we'll do a little bit of research project there. Okay. And then the following day, I have a friend who teaches acting in Japan. And I would like, last time I went there, took students there, he arranged Japanese sword fighting workshop for us. And we had a bunch of non-acting majors, but they all enjoyed it. And they filmed the workshop for us. And it was great fun and have a little bit of interactions with the Japanese students. So we have a little bit of a cultural exchange there. Right? And my friend's wife also teaches at the university and teaches media communication. So maybe we can have a little bit of workshop there as well. And if it's, if we have time, or this is what I would really like to do as well, the tour of the National Theater. So it's really like the biggest theater you will see. And hopefully they have a performance there. So we will go see one of their performances, and I'd like them to give us a tour of the theater. Okay? And you will get to see the backstage of the one of the oldest theater in Japan. And then Saturday, free during the day, because that's the last full day of the trip. And we can take a short trip to Kamakura, Yokohama. These are like an hour, about 2 hours away from Tokyo. So, and the Kamakura is a seaside town, and so is Yokohama. And now if you're dying to go to Tokyo Disney, that would be the day, okay? But you have to go there really early to do anything. So, but Saturday, again, Saturday is free. And on Sunday, we will come go to the airport and come back to the US. Now, unlike going to Japan, coming back, we will come back on the same day, okay? So when we leave on Sunday, probably like in mid-afternoon, we will arrive in the US in the evening of Sunday in the US, okay? So it's a little confusing, maybe, but that's how this international travel works. Do you have any questions so far? You're good? All right. Okay, and then, so assessment methods and the grading scheme for this trip. I'm going to give you a couple of quizzes before we go so that you have a little bit of knowledge about Japanese theater. And the projects would be like research projects. It's not going to be extensive, but again, quizzes and the projects are to make you familiarized with the Japanese culture and the Japanese theater. And the preparations, that means, I guess, quizzes and projects. And the participation is important. So when we go to Japan and do a workshop and attend the workshop, I don't want you to just sit and observe. I want you to participate, okay? And the punctuality is extremely important. So when I say be on time, be at a certain place at a certain time, you need to be there, unless you don't want to be, you want to be left alone in your hotel room, okay? And then when we come back, I would like you to write a reflection paper, as I told you earlier, right? Now, the important things to consider, the cost will be approximately $3,000. Now, the price may go down if we take 13 to 15 students. So this price is for 10 to 12 students. And at the moment, I maxed, it is maxed at 12, okay? Because Japan is very tight, okay? And when you try to move with more than 10 people, it becomes a hassle. I'm sure you've seen the packed subway trains in Japan, and the conductors are pushing people into those cars, you know? So that's the kind of thing you may experience when we are in Tokyo, okay? So, you know, let me know if you think it should be 13 to 15, and so that you can bring down the cost by $300. But the 10 to 12 students is really manageable, okay? And easier to move around without major issues. Okay, any questions about the cost? You're good? And then at second part, this is also something important. You'll be sharing hotel rooms with at least like one other person, okay? Or we can bring the cost down more if you are willing to share a room with with 2 or 3 other people, okay? Those are the things we will discuss as we go along, but this is something you need to keep in mind. And if you're a vegan, you will have a really difficult time in Japan. If you're flexible enough to, or resourceful enough to find grocery stores and go get vegetables and fruits, you can certainly do that. And you know, they sell tofu, fresh tofu, and rice, and those are really excellent compared to what you get in the US. But if you go to a restaurant and ask for a vegan menu, they're not going to give you one because they don't, most places don't offer vegan food, okay? And again, as I said before, there will be a few participatory workshops that I would like you to participate. And the gluten-free diet, going back to food subject, again, forget it. Food in Japan is full of starch, okay? So if you are vegan or eat gluten-free food, make sure to bring some food with you in case of extreme starvation. Okay. You will be able to find things, something to eat for sure. But unlike US, they don't label everything, okay? And they also don't necessarily list all the ingredients. Even if they list the ingredients, most of them are in Japanese, so you know, just keep that in mind, all right? Essential personal items to bring. The top 3 things I listed here, well, all these things are most important. Passport, credit card and cash, and a smartphone with the following apps, like a Google Maps, it's important, okay? And an international plan, I have AT&T and have used a day pass, which is $10 a day, and you can use your phone like you use it here. Unlimited texting, unlimited data. AT&T also have this plan called Passport Plan, and you pay $70 and you get 2 gigabytes of data. Now, I don't know how much you use your phone data per day, but I don't know. I'm more comfortable doing a day pass if it's just a 10-day trip, because like 2 of those days will be just traveling, right? And if you do a passport with the limited 2 gigabytes of data, then you kind of have to constantly watch how many memory, the data, how much data you use each day. So it's kind of totally up to you, or you can share it with your friends. But those are the details we try to figure out before we go to the trip, but something to keep in mind again. Okay. Now, comfortable shoes for long walks. We will walk a lot. Okay. Last time I went there, we walked at least 5 miles a day. Okay. So by the end, so if you don't bring comfortable shoes, you'll be miserable. Okay. Make sure you bring sneakers or something. Right. Any questions? This is the monkey from the Monkey Mountain in Kyoto. I'm gonna stop sharing. Any questions, anybody?
I do have one.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey,
if
Sam.
we're not acting majors stuff, I know you said you're gonna do a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot, but stuff before the trip to, like, I guess, teach us about the Japanese theater and stuff. But do we have to really know anything beforehand besides that, or will we get to know most of it from the class?
You'll get to know most of it from class.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, when you go there, and at least you have some familiarity of what you're seeing or what we experience,
Okay.
so that your experience would be richer.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.